Okay, so this is another snatch technique video analysis. So the previous video I did was on a couple snatches I did like, I don't know, almost 3 years ago, like April 2014 turned out. This one, I'm recording this the day after I did this one. So this is my first snatch PR in 3.5 years. This is 231 pounds, which is 105 kilos. So I'm going to point out everything that I did right, which is pretty much everything, and I'll point out kind of the one thing that made me almost miss this lift. So first I'll play it back in real time. I've upgraded my technology, so because my God, filming the laptop screen with my phone was like, it was making me nauseous. So I can only imagine how bad it was for all you guys that are watching it. So anyway, this is on my computer directly. So let's watch the video in full speed first, and I'll break it down. There we go. Yep, yelling like a jackass, slamming the bar down. Okay, so that's the lift in real time. So let's play it again. And I'm going to break it down piece by piece. So first, the setup, everything that I do correctly in the setup, right about there. So the bar is right over the balls of the feet, right there, as you can see. Shoulders are directly over the bar, right where they need to be. Back angle is as upright as possible. Knees are pushed out to the side. I kind of point my toes out a little bit in my snatch setup just so that I can, because I am lanky as hell, so getting into a good start position is kind of awkward. So anyway, I've got my shoulders set as tight as possible. Notice how there's a slight bend in the arms as a result of that. I'm 5'10.5", and I have a 6'3" arm span. So if I gripped, if I had a normal person snatch grip and like a normal person shoulder and arm setup, it would make contact like halfway down my thighs and it would swing away the hell out away from me. That's how I used to snatch, and I don't do that anymore. So anyway, that's the setup. Setup's good. And then let's go through the first pull. So bar breaks off the ground. You can see the hips shift up just a tiny bit, like an inch. So, generally you want to fight having the hips shift up as much as possible. Keep that back ankle as upright as you can, and keep the quads loaded. So, and then you'll see the bar sweeps back, and then it's kept like right next to the thighs through the transition into the second pull. You can see it actually pull my shorts up. Bar goes to the hip. That's the power position right there. Back angle is pretty much vertical. And then second pull hits full extension, ankles, knees, hips. That's like as fully extended as you can possibly get. And then third pull, get under the bar fairly quickly. So notice how when my arm, this is the initial point of lockout for the arms. Notice how I'm already in a below parallel squat. And the bar kind of pushes me down about another inch or two into like rock bottom squat. And then, I stand up out of it and I have to kind of chase it down. So that's all the things that I did right in the lift. Pretty much from a technical perspective, it's basically perfect. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have made the lift, and here's why. A lifetime of, or not a lifetime, a childhood of lots of baseball and not really any stretching has left me with a pretty noticeable left-right imbalance in terms of my shoulders and to a lesser extent in my hips. My right shoulder has great external rotation and crap internal rotation, and my left shoulder is the exact opposite. My right lat is also visibly bigger and stronger than my left. And this is something that comes into play as I get up to max loading on snatches, cleans, and deadlifts. The bar tends to swing out just a tiny, tiny bit on the left side, and it kind of throws things off a little bit. I have to actively fight that. So let's skip ahead a little bit right there. Okay, so watch the bar very carefully. As it breaks off of the floor, see how it kind of tilts just a little bit right as it gets to about there. That's the point where the lats are under the most load. Very, very slightly, the bar is swung out a teensy bit on the left side. And that becomes a little bit more visibly apparent. Even right there, it's not quite symmetrical as the bar makes contact with the hips. And then full extension, pulling under it. And then you'll notice as I'm coming out of the bottom, it kind of, see how the bar kind of tilts a little bit as I'm chasing it down? You can see the end of it there, and then it kind of levels out. So what my best guess as to what is happening, my left lat is not pulling quite as much as the right, but only at max loading. And it's kind of making the bar tilt ever so slightly. That's throwing off just, again, ever so slightly, getting under it in my receiving position. So this is one of the reasons why having a decent amount of symmetry between your left and your right shoulders and hips is pretty important. No one's perfectly symmetrical, I get that, but my asymmetry is very noticeable, and it tends to cause problems as I get up to a max. Before I did this lift, this was 231, the lift I did before this was 226, and it was perfect. I think I took maybe a half step forward coming out of the bottom. On this one, I had to chase it down like 8 feet. So, bit of a difference there. But anyway, again, from a technical perspective, everything else I pointed out, all that was pretty solid is what a snatch should look like, at least in terms of, in theory. It's just that left-right imbalance is something that I'm going to have to actively work on in order to improve my lifts. So anyway, that's it for today. I said last time that hopefully I would have a bit better technique and a little bit more success in my subsequent video, and here you go. 1 pound PR, first time 3.5 years, and lots of bar slamming and jackassery in general. So that's it for today. See you next time.